What's up, friends? Let's hop right into this phase 2 week 1 overview. So right off the bat, you'll notice that our primary lifts have changed. So our trap bar deadlift is now a snatch grip deadlift. Our military press is now incline press, and our back squat is now front squat. What you're watching here is a video of session number 2, my incline bench workout. And you can see that I decided to start with my core superset number 2 there. This right here is a kettlebell windmill, really good for training the obliques in my opinion, also just getting some shoulder stability. So right before I did incline bench, I thought that might be something I wanted to do to kind of prime the body. And then here we have our kettlebell pull throughs, which is just another great exercise variation for the obliques and just core stability. So let's look at our assistance volume here. If you'll remember from week 3 of phase number 1, we increased our volume to 3 sets, which was a pretty significant increase. That was an overreach. And so here in phase 2, we're sticking right there with our 3 sets to keep our volume pretty high, and that just goes right onto our goal. And our goal for phases 1 and 2 is to accumulate volume and really build our capacity to perform work as we transition in phase 3 into a strength phase, and then phase 4 into a conjugate maximal strength, kind of trying to set records there in phase 4. So right now we're really building the foundation in order to be able to produce max force when we get to that point. This to me, like honestly, high volume training is not necessarily my favorite thing in the world to do, but the way I view it is it's kind of like the price of admission. Like if I'm going to want to max out, then I'm going to have to put the work in beforehand to do that. So I make myself kind of again pay the price before I just go have some fun and lift heavy weights. So the structure here in phase 2, another difference from phase 1 is phase 1, I had an upper body workout that was all upper body, and then some core, a lower body workout, and then a workout that was all posterior chain, which is like the back of your upper body and the back of your lower body. So glutes, hamstrings, and then traps, lats, things like that. So again, it was upper, lower, posterior. Here in phase 2, I've switched to a full body workouts, right? So the structure is that all 3 workouts incorporate the entire body. If you look there, we got the deadlift, which I would consider a posterior lift, and then we have squats, and then we have dips for upper body. So there's something in each workout. It's touching on the entire body. So that's another significant change here in phase number 2. And then let's pop up the goals here for phase 2 and how they've changed. So again, our overall program goal for this entire 16-week program is still to increase squat strength. And the way that you'll recognize how I'm touching on that is in workout number 1, session 1, I still have back squats as an assistance workout, which if I was creating this program for someone else, that back squat would not be there. I have 3 sets of 10 back squat. And I would have that as some other exercise variation. But for me, I have a lot of squat volume. And so that's just something that's individual to my own personal goals right now. And it doesn't necessarily follow the program structure. It's just something I'm fitting in there because that is my overall goal. Now, the mesocycle goal, or the goal of this phase, again, we know, as I've discussed, is accumulation and work capacity. And so something that's different is, again, our goal is still volume, but instead of working on and fitting in isometric exercises, I'm now doing eccentric exercises. And the same thing is true for, instead of body weight training, which I still am prioritizing body weight stuff, I'm also incorporating some dumbbells here. Our rest periods are the same. We're still at 45 seconds around-ish. I set my clock for 45 seconds, and that's something for me that is a significant change because usually I'll just rest as long as I want. In the past, like I've mentioned, I've been training for about 15 years. Very rarely have I kept myself to a strict rest period in terms of like being short. I try not to rest longer than like 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, even when I'm training for strength. But I've never held myself really accountable to a short rest period. So that's something I've been doing, and I've been, it's been kicking my butt because things such as that windmill and kettlebell pull through that you just watched, that seem like they're pretty easy. As soon as you start to go fast, it really changes the intensity of that. So here actually if you're looking is these Nordic hamstring curls, and they're challenging. This is a really tough exercise. You know, something that I saw this first, I believe. I mean, I've seen it around here and there, but I saw Tyreek Hill doing it, and Tyreek Hill can go all the way down controlled, hover a few inches off the ground and pull himself back up. It's crazy impressive if you actually try it. So something I'm doing here is I was going to try to do an isometric hold, which should be the easiest variation of that exercise, but I felt like I wasn't, like it just didn't feel quite right. And after watching the video, it actually looks better than it felt. But then I basically just decided, okay, I'm going to hop into just kind of trying to lower myself as slowly as possible and then kind of push myself back up. This is a regression to that exercise. And so I've only incorporated it in my training one other time, but it's a really good exercise for hammering those hamstrings. And the reason I like it too is because most times when you're trying to address your hamstrings, either the exercise is not intense enough, like it's like a some type of single leg RDL, or maybe a like a Superman style exercise that's just not very intense, or you're doing something like a barbell or a dumbbell RDL. And typically when you're training your hamstrings in that fashion, you're putting a lot of stress on your low back. But what I love about the Nordic hamstring curl is you're training your hamstrings. It's an intense exercise, but your back there's no stress on your back, so you're really able to just kind of focus on the hamstrings, and you're not too worried about putting any extra stress through your back. So I enjoy that. So what I began doing is I was trying to hold like a little isometric hold at the beginning of each of these reps, and then I would go down and push myself back up. So I was really just kind of playing around with how it felt and trying to just make sure that I was sending a nice stimulus and getting some nice training effect there in those hamstrings. Let's see here. Another thing, again, target sessions. So I honestly haven't done too many target sessions, and I discussed this, I believe, back in one of the previous episodes. But here in phase 1 and 2, with the goals that we have in mind of work capacity, on off days, I do have the option to do some additional training. And basically what I would do is I would train beach muscles, so like chest, shoulders, triceps, arms, biceps. I would do a session that's just kind of short, not super intense, where I'm just trying to get a pump on my beach muscles. And so I could add, to my 3 sessions a week, I could do, 1 or 2 additional target sessions. But I believe I only did like maybe 1 or 2 in the entire cycle for phase 1. And to be honest with you, session 1 here, week 1 of phase 2 it's kicked my butt as well. I mean, again, think about it. I'm still doing the same intensity that I was doing in my overreach week from phase 1. So I'm still kind of adjusting to that. And so maybe I'll try to fit some more of those target sessions in here in the future. Let's see, as we come to the end of this video, we got some single arm dumbbell rows. Now, hey, an interesting point here is I've actually found this exercise to probably be one of my favorite core exercises. I don't do it all the time, but I do squeeze it in every few cycles of training, because if you notice, like, you get a lot of rotation. So of course you are training that back musculature, that trapezius and things like that, rear delt, rhomboids. You're getting some good work there, but you're getting a ton of rotational work and anti-rotation work in your obliques, and my core is always super lit up from doing some heavy single arm dumbbell rows. So that's honestly a great exercise variation. And then the other thing I was going to say, going back to these Nordic hamstring curls, I mentioned Tyreek Hill, but probably the most impressive video I've seen, because Tyreek Hill is a pretty small guy, I don't know, he weighs 160 pounds. There's a video of Myles Garrett, who's the defensive end for the Cleveland Browns, and he's a monster, right? He's probably like 6'4", 270 pounds, He's doing Nordic hamstring curls completely under control, and it's crazy impressive. So it's something I want to work on. And again, it's a fun exercise variation. It's always good to toss in things that you haven't done before, just for that novelty, that new stimulus. And typically you're going to get a good response from your body from trying some different things. So here we're wrapping it up. This is the end of the workout. You see my son walking around. He ends up knocking over my camera right here. But this was a great workout. It's a fun week. I'm excited to get into this next phase of training, and I'm super excited for the next phase of training coming up. But again, I got to put that work in. I got to pay those dues in order to earn the right to be able to load some heavy weights onto that barbell. If you made it this far into the video, man, I appreciate you. I just want to let you know, if you enjoyed this content, please consider liking and sharing the video. If not, that's cool too. Be on the lookout each Friday for a new episode dropping. See ya next time.